Okay, it is
She's all right.
6:06. I'm going to start, call this meeting to session. I'll do a quick roll call because it's just me as soon as I find my document here. Mayor Allen is present, Deputy Mayor Ryan,
Here?
Trustee Alter,
Yep.
Trustee O'Malley, Trustee Decker,
Here.
Trustee Shuddig.
Hey. Here.
Absent is Trustee Walreed, thank you. First item of business we have is an agreement. The background to this is that the resident who actually lives outside the village, this is just past Home Street, when the paving on Home Street ends and it becomes sort of a, I guess it would be a stone road at the time. Liz Medvitz is one of two who lives off of this road. In the past, we had used that portion of the road outside of the village as a turnaround for the plows. After she had redone that area, we evidently turned around and dropped the plow unintentionally / accidentally, which basically ruined the work that she had done the previous year, or previous, 2 years before? You have to help me remember that.
It was 2 years ago, yes.
It was 2 years prior. So Bobby and I went out there. Neil has been out there with a couple different times
I
to
went
look
out there
over
with Neil, too.
the property, and our idea was simply to memorialize this in an agreement, so each side knows what's going on, what is and isn't involved. We had a lot of back and forth to get all the details right in this, even some edits today, but we have this agreement that we are bringing to you guys for approval. I've kind of narrated through the whereas. The portion of the road just off of Home Street is called Tahoe Drive, and it's from the end of Home Street's paving to when the road splits. It's about a 300 and something foot location. The trust is named so because of the way that the ownership of that location is. So Andy's been involved in this from the very beginning. And I'm going to go with the last two whereas statements. Whereas the village seeks to resolve any and all claims that have been or may be asserted by the trust and or Medvitz concerning such alleged damage to Tahoe Drive upon the terms and conditions set forth herein. And whereas New York Village Law Section 4-412 authorizes the village through the Board of Trustees to settle and compromise claims in a manner deemed to be in the overall interest of the village. Now therefore, upon the mutual covenants and conditions set forth herein, and other good and valuable consideration, the receipt of which is hereby acknowledged, the parties agree as follows. 1, and this is where we did a little bit of tweaking just to make sure all parties were good with this. And by the way, she did email me back and said this was good, so she's good with this.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 1, the village shall complete one application and grading of shoulder stone, which is the original stone that was there, on Tahoe Drive in the location bounded by the municipal boundary between the village and the town of Hoosick, and proceeding for a distance of 320 feet on Tahoe Drive, and within a width of 12 feet along such course. That is the current distance and road. That's just stating exactly what it is right now. 5 inches of stone shall be placed at the center, and 4 inches of stone placed at the shoulder of such roadway, and graded in a manner to crown such roadway. Such work shall be limited as to both scope and area as described in this paragraph 1, and shall be completed by the village within 10 business days of the date of this agreement. No additional work shall be undertaken by the village on Tahoe Drive. The details of that is what we worked out, measured ourselves, and establishes back to what it was originally. It was graded this way, it had a certain amount of stone set on, and all that stuff. So it's basically returning it back to the way it was. Number 2, the trust affirms, represents, and warrants that it is the fee title owner to the premises, and specifically to that portion of Tahoe Drive described in paragraph 1 above, and hereby grants to the village, its employees, agents, and contractors a temporary right to access the premises for the purpose of completing the work. As described in paragraph 1 above, such access is limited to the hours of 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and the work described above in paragraph 1 shall be limited to such days and times. Number 3, in consideration of the completion of the work by the village as described in paragraph 1 above, the trust and Medvitz individually and collectively, as for itself and themselves, and its beneficiaries, heirs, executors, administrators, successors, and assigners, hereby release the village from any and all claims or cause of actions whatsoever, whether in law or equity, which the trust and or Medvitz ever had, now have, or may have by reason of arising out of or relating to the asserted damage to Tahoe Drive as here and above described, including but not limited to direct, consequential, punitive, and/or exemplary damages. By the way, this is standard release language. Number 4, the party hereto acknowledges that this agreement has been read, understands, and agrees to be bound by its terms. Further, each party acknowledges and agrees that this agreement is the complete and exclusive statement of the agreement and understanding of the parties regarding the subject matter contained by this agreement. No modification of any provision hereof shall be valid unless in writing signed by the parties. Number 5, the parties have taken all requisite action to authorize and approve the execution and deliver this agreement, and this agreement constitutes a valid and binding obligation of the parties. And 6, the agreement may be simultaneously executed in several counterparts, each of which shall be an original, and all of which shall constitute but one and the same instrument. So, long story short, this puts in all the details of what the work is and isn't going to be, and prevents anyone from suing anyone about anything that may or may not have happened. So, it's very long-winded, and you would literally probably laugh out loud at the amount of emails and time this is spent getting to this point, but we wanted to make sure that was right.
She's pretty detailed, orientated.
And again, there's no issue with
So eloquent.
agreeing on the details and making sure they're represented properly in the agreements.
I was wondering why we need.
I need someone to introduce this. I guess would it be a motion or roll call vote? Do you think?
I don't
Why don't we
know.
do both? That way we're covered.
Well, we do a roll call vote, and then we do
It's
that's
technically-
over and above the resolution.
Right.
All right. So so I need. I guess well, we're looking for a motion.
I'll make
We'll
the
do
motion.
it to authorize the mayor to sign off on this agreement.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Alright, I'll fill in the rest. Okay. Any further discussion on this? Neil has everything ready to go. We were actually trying to
How
get.
much is gonna cost us just,
He's already gotten the stones dropped off. It's just work hours from that point on.
Right. I don't know I don't know how much the stone was.
I'm not sure what it
nailed into.
was.
It was 2 loads of stone is what he told me. From
$600 probably.
something like that.
Something like that.
Maybe a little more. But and then just about he said between 6 to 8 hours labor, and that's for a full day's work for a few guys. So
Yeah.
So I'm just curious. What did our plows do that much damage
Yes,
to a
they
dirt
did.
road? Really?
yeah. Well, the problem was Dan,
She had
is
it like
they
this.
she had it. You know, I mean, again,
Really nice.
very
Yeah.
attention to detail, and they went up like 100, not even 100. Well, it was what 80 yards when we measured. I think we 80 yards, and just dropped it. And then when they did, they just I mean,
Pushed all the
they pushed
stone,
all the
shoulder
stuff.
stone off to the side,
And
lost the
crown.
The crown, and then when heavy rains came by, it eroded
So it just everything
more.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I figured there was something to this. 'Cause
And you would
normally-
never know where. I mean, unless you're looking for it, you're not going to find it. Trust me, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
it's
but
not
she-
in. It's at the end of Home Street. It's where the pavement stops.
Oh, I know exactly where it is because my son's friend Drew lives at that. Like his house is the first one on the left. When Tahoe
yeah.
Drive is here, you go to the left, and they live right there.
Oh,
So
with
I'm up there all the
Robleski.
time. Yes.
Yeah, that's the other. That's the other landowner.
It
up there.
was Loomis's, right? It was
Yeah.
Loomis's old house, Eddie Loomis's.
Any other questions?
No, did we ever do anything about Lori Kemp's complaint?
Yeah, but they went up there
Yeah.
and worked
They-
on
they
that
took
They did
driveway
that too?
spot.
Yeah,
and-
Bruce-
I was just
Bruce did
wondering,
that one.
this one made me think of the other one.
No,
While
Bruce-
Neil was
Bruce-
out a
yeah,
couple
Bruce
days
took care
and
of it, and there's been
all
no
has been
issue
good.
since.
Right.
He just redirected the water so it was going in
Yeah.
the drain rather than down her driveway.
Any other discussion?
I have one thing quick.
Well, we gotta approve this
We gotta-
first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
Roll
you were-
call vote. Deputy Mayor Ryan,
Yes.
Trustee Alter,
Yes.
Trustee O'Malley.
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee
Yes.
Decker. Trustee Shudding.
Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you. Passes. Great. Thank you. There's a couple other items that you guys want to bring up.
Just one quick thing for me, and then I'm gonna bounce out here. The Restore New York grant program, round 7 is open. Jason is very much interested in applying for that for 1 Center Street, which he's taken or is in the process of taking possession of. I think either he's paying Samantha or Samantha's gonna do it pro bono or whatever, is going to write the grant application for that building. The only problem is that, Jason cannot apply, because it has to be, the municipality
municipality.
has to apply for it. Otherwise, I mean, wouldn't we all apply for it for our own houses?
Yeah.
I'd like,
Sure.
I'd like a Restore New York grant for my house. So, because the municipality needs to identify as a building, a priority building, which I think we've all agreed that One Center should have that restored, would be like a dream come true around this place, so. Anyway, so basically, the only thing we're on the hook for with this whole thing so far, I'm gonna just confirm with Samantha that he's gonna pay the grant writing cost, or they've got something worked out, is there's a $500 application fee on behalf of the village. I mean, I think that's really de minimis considering the return if we get this, if he gets this grant and is able to do something with that building. The other thing is, he's gonna need to fill out this here, this is what I sent to Samantha earlier, which is my understanding of this grant. It's a site control affidavit for non-municipally owned property, so even though he would own the building, we have to have access to the building, we base, you know, as the municipality and the grantee, if you will, of the recipient of the grant, we have to treat it just the same as any other grant project. So we have to have access to the property, we have to have, basically, I don't wanna say ownership, we don't own the property, but we have to have basically the rights of an owner for the purposes of executing the grant.
So he doesn't own it yet, can we apply for something that he doesn't own?
Yeah, well, I think so. That's what I was talking to Samantha about it today, and she said, "Do you think it's better if the county still has possession of it, or if he has it?" I said, "I think it's better if he has
Oh, I
it,
agree.
because you get the county right out of it. Jason then has a pecuniary interest in it, so he's going to obviously do everything he can. Where these guys might be like, yeah, you're on the list, you know, we'll get to you." And she said also, it just, for the purposes of the grant writing, it just looks so much better if Jason has it, because then the person who's going to run it, take possession of it, whatever, actually owns the property, then you get rid of all those questions of, well, what happens if the county decides they don't wanna give it to him? What happens if they decide to put it out to, what happens if somebody else comes in? Is he, you know, and you get all this other kind of stuff
Well,
out of
plus
it.
if people see, we paid for the fee and then he doesn't own it, then.
So I'll stop over and talk to him, but I just wanted to make sure, the board was fine with spending the $500 grant application. I assume we don't have.
I don't think he's home right now, is he?
He's
No.
not. He's in Mexico.
He's still in Mexico.
Oh, is he? Okay.
He's in Mexico Sunday to, what, Bob, you probably know. So probably Wednesday? It might be like Wednesday. He's coming home he'll be home for
Yeah, I mean,
Thanksgiving.
he's gonna be home for Friday and he'll be home for Christmas then.
Yeah, I know, he's gonna
Well,
be,
Samantha's been in constant communication, so I'll just touch base with her,
You
on
can
it.
probably text him too. I texted him
Oh, okay, yeah, I
recently, so.
didn't even think about that, so, so that's the deal there, the lady, when we did that tour, the lady was very, I mean, she, you know, they were looking at all the other stuff around the village, but she was really big into that Restore New York grant, that's how, she's the one who actually handled and executed the, Doherty's block here. She did that one, and she was all gung ho on this. This is a perfect building for that grant. That and
Yeah.
114 Church. So she was so, and she said she's. I don't think it's as competitive as the other one we're applying for. I think she basically alluded to the fact that she can basically hold her hands through the process on that one more so than the big $5 million one. So, at any rate, the deal is we have to apply, and then he has to give us site control for the purposes of executing the grant.
Good luck getting the county to move on that, jeez, they put the auctions off again.
Did they really?
Oh, did they really?
jeez.
When's the auction gonna be?
Now they're saying maybe December.
Well, I think that's another thing we're gonna have to talk about. We're gonna
Yeah.
have to fix the roof on 114. If we lose that, the cost to demolish it.
I sent an email
Eyesore.
to C.J. Kemp, the county's attorney, who's a local guy,
Yep.
about the roof of Church Street, and he never even responded to me. He's a nice guy, a hometown guy, can't even respond to a message about,
He's got one agenda, it's called himself,
yeah.
that's his problem.
So, well, there's a process we can use, like we did with 57 or 54
Good
Church
from his
Street.
father.
Just like,
then we'll have to use the process. It ain't gonna cost that much to fix the roof on that building, but it needs to be done, because if you lose the building, and I didn't know this until Craig Kennedy told me this, once that roof comes down, even if it's fixable,
You got asbestos abatement.
that's,
you got-
you're considered to be 100% asbestos abatement project. The roof cannot come down. If the roof comes down on that thing, we're gonna be stuck with a massive eyesore right at the entrance to the,
And the thing is, I don't understand why the county, a building which they already own, why they couldn't have just done that one by itself. Because Collier City Auctions does all the property.
What has Bruce and Jeff said? Anything?
Somebody asked about it, and I don't think they could.
do they do anything?
Not really, absolutely, you know, get their picture taken.
Yeah,
Put it
go
Put
down.
ads in the newspaper.
Yeah, look at me in the veterans, look at me in the cow farmers, or
Right.
whatever they're
I can reach out to them if you want to say.
Could you?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, just say.
Can I ask a
you know,
question about, Jason in his video, which, why does he have to, first of all, why do you have to do a video and have a petition?
I don't think he had
He
to.
didn't,
He
he
just
didn't,
wanted
no,
to.
Oh,
I
he
think
just
he was
wanted
trying
to-
to
okay.
put pressure on the
to-
county.
To
Organize
prove
Oh,
that
okay.
he's
Yeah.
going for it.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, I just was
Yeah,
curious
it's
about
more-
did a good
that.
job.
I think it's more for
I mean,
the
I signed
pressure on
it,
the
but-
county to try.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I was just curious. The other thing is, he talked about using all the containers to make like, tiny houses.
Tiny
Yeah.
houses.
They're gonna be inside that building?
They'll be in like a courtyard in there the way.
Yeah, he showed, I went in there with
Yeah.
him once, a few years ago.
It's pretty scary.
The
isn't
first
it?
one, it was scary then. This was like 5-6 years ago.
Boy, I mean, his idea, so.
He's got ideas. I don't know.
Here's the question, if they put them
He'll get
down,
it
we're gonna have some zoning stuff to deal with, I just wanna be prepared with it. Because, if you put those containers down, in the village, we can't have non-foundation houses, right?
Gotta be on a slab or.
Slab.
Is it inside the building?
Well,
Or
there
is
isn't really an inside anymore. That's
Well,
the
Well,
there's, you
problem.
can't,
he'll
there's
have-
going to be, you can't say,
Yeah.
right, there,
Is it
because
within
there's
the
no
four
roof now.
walls?
I don't know, but I'm just saying, and I
The
don't, I think, I
ramparts
mean, I
and
hope he
all.
does it, I think it's a great idea, don't get me wrong.
Laws
But
are
we're-
laws and.
Yeah, we're
we-
gonna have to look carefully, and
Actually-
we need to have our zoning guys trained, so they know what the heck they're looking at.
Actually, it's a 4-foot cross wall, it's not even a slab, because you can't have slabs, except for our alleged special agreement with, Easy Street there.
Was it Easy Street?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that
Maybe
was
Alaskan
done.
slabs or,
I was just gonna ask. Alaskan slabs are just like this, right? They don't go down 4 feet though, right?
right.
You only have to go 2 on.
I don't even know any of that stuff, I'm just saying, all kinds of stuff's gonna come up, I
Oh,
already got,
well, it's definitely,
already got some questions from a specific
Well, hopefully he
person,
does his
so-
homework.
well,
Yeah.
And if we know something, we gotta give him.
look, I
Yeah, or we
guess,
need to give them variance or whatever, but we're gonna,
Give
just
them
need, we just
advice.
need to, yeah, we just need to,
So
It'll be
full,
neat.
full-
It'll be neat.
so we can
full,
make it
full,
happen.
full disclosure. My wife does is doing some of the engineering for him. Something to do.
oh, that's
during the
great.
day.
Well,
She needs something to do.
yeah, and Jason's gotta we gotta make sure that Jason does what he's doing, he's gotta do it by the book.
Yes.
He's been consistent about checking.
No.
So
Oh,
I,
no, he hasn't.
No, he doesn't.
No, he hasn't.
Oh, right.
I will
He breaks
just.
the zoning laws all the time, and he's on the zoning board, or planning board. I'm not
I
sure.
will
Well, just Mark's had some,
Okay.
you know, but I'm not putting that
Mark's
down.
told him now he has to have an engineering standard
Right,
to do
he
all
did,
this stuff,
right.
which is
Well, he didn't put the kitchen extension on properly.
my wife directed him what he needed to do with that. He's like, but the box says it'll hold gross weight. You know those boxes they stack them 12,000 tons or whatever. And she's like, Jason, if you cut the ends of a milk carton off, how much?
Right,
You know,
it's like
you cut the ends off. You've
There's no
destroyed the
support.
structural integrity. It has
Yeah.
0 now. You have to frame around it. You know. So
He
anyway,
might have put the apartment on.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
she.
No,
May
he's,
wanna hang
he's
out
very
for
Well,
a
he
couple
will
things
do
before
it if
we
he
get to the
knows.
other stuff.
I have one thing too, I just.
Sure. This is regular session.
Yes,
right?
this is.
Sure.
Neil
Sure.
asked, Neil has like 3 weeks vacation left. He wants to know if the board would be willing to pay him out rather than doing, you know, if he leaves in 3 weeks, you know, it takes the 3 weeks.
Right, yeah, I'd rather pay him.
I think that may be an executive session discussion with personnel.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
No, not this.
think
This is
so.
not
I thought
anything.
you said-
It's not anything personal.
He is.
He is, but he's saying instead of taking 3 weeks
But
off
what
in
he's
the dead
saying-
of winter, I'll
Yeah.
give you guys a little bit of a, I'll stay till the last
He's just
day.
asking.
Just pay me then.
So
If not, we're gonna
Want to know
lose.
the
You know what I
easiest?
mean?
Want to know the
Didn't we
easiest
have
way to
a-
deal with
No,
this?
Didn't we
What's
have
Because we ran into this with Holbrook.
Yes,
There,
thank you,
the
I was just
easiest
about
way
to say
to
that.
deal with this is not to go altering anything. If his when's his
Change his retirement date.
correct? When is his retirement day right now? January 10th or something.
26th.
No, it's later. It's
26th.
26th.
So
Okay.
just change it.
So
to-
just change it plus 3 weeks and just pay him out the 3 weeks
Yeah.
as he walks out the door.
Yeah.
Change it to
that's
February 22nd
perfect.
or whatever.
But
and
he'd be
just
done on the 26th.
Yeah, right,
terminal
His
leave,
last
just
day
like
of
the
work will be
military.
the 26th.
Right.
Exactly the way the military
and you
works.
don't
You
have
want
to have
terminal
a
leave.
special meeting about it or
Exactly.
anything, it's just simple.
Extend it out, and then grant him approve his 3 weeks of vacation at the end. That's the easiest.
Is everybody okay with
I'm good
that?
with that.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we can't afford to not have Neil here for 3 weeks, especially when we're
Right, I mean,
transitioning to a replacement.
So if his retirement date would be, well,
I'm pretty, I can.
So if his retirement date is
January 1st, make it
January,
for January 21st.
correct,
No,
and then
no,
and then have him put a
22nd, right,
vacation
yeah.
request in from
Whatever
the 1st to the
vacation he has,
21st
I
and
gotta-
approve it.
we gotta double check procedures with Andy and Elaine and make sure that if we do something like this, it doesn't screw up any retirement things that have gone through. I just don't know because we haven't.
Neil,
done this
is he
before.
part of the retirement? He's
Is he
not
in
part of.
union?
Yeah, no, he's
He
part
is.
of the retirement.
He
Oh, he
submitted
is.
his retirement papers
Be
and
like
everything.
February
I didn't know if he was part of
16th,
the union still.
or what is he, January 22nd?
Is he in a
It's-
union?
I don't know, that's the
20.
only way to do it though, make,
No,
Yeah, the answer is yes, but yes, he should get paid for the 3 weeks. It's just a matter of how we just make it easy, the easiest way to do
that
it.
may
need
be.
him to
But
work
Rob
to
does have a
that
good
day.
point. If he's already submitted to the state that he's out on the 26th.
Yeah, that may
Then-
be an issue.
But the thing is, if we pass something approving buying his vacation time out before the 26th, before he leaves, I think that's probably fine.
And
you just
can
can't-
amend that, cause somebody at my office is amending his because of the same type of thing where
Okay.
we have so much comp time and vacation time, the county won't buy us out, so he has to extend his
Okay.
comp time and vacate to get his
So-
vacation.
The other thing is, that's why it should be an
Double check with Andy
executive
and Elaine.
session, because we don't want every other.
Well, that's the other thing.
Why ask me?
Whatever we do procedurally
Well, the other ones have to
will
bargain in
likely
a contract, so.
not our salary because there aren't any other contracts.
But
So
then there's no precedent then.
we'd be setting
Setting
precedent.
precedent.
So
Yeah,
just,
but who, no, what?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's
No,
just,
no, I'm saying, but what are they gonna do, file a grievance with a non-existent union?
No, that's not what I mean.
Right.
I mean, whatever we decide to do, people who are looking to retire in the future, they would
You got every
have the
right-
same expectation.
You got every right to tell them no, as long as you're not doing it with an unlawful intent, like you can't say, well, we only do that for the boys, but not for the lady, you know,
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
would not.
yeah, I mean, that's an unlawful intent, but other than that, I
So
think you got a right
we'll
to.
we'll double check with our attorneys, and probably if we can figure out how to do that, we'll have it for the regular meeting in December. Does that work?
Yeah, just approve it ahead of time, then you don't run into problems.
All right. Anything else?
Once I get all the details from Neil.
Yep. Alright, need a motion to enter executive session for the purposes of, I forget what I put on the agenda, or on the notice, discussing a personnel matter and something related to the collective bargaining agreement, whatever it says on our website.
I'll make it, second.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Also aye. Any other ayes out there?
Yeah.
I'm in.
Alright, thank you. Motion passed unanimously. Session entered at 6:30.